Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this very brief presentation on a topic that I'm really interested in. I think it'll be very helpful to you if you grasp this whole concept about energy vibrations change everything. I'm Dr. Cecil Cockerham, so let's get right into the lesson and let's see what we can learn. You can literally have anything that you want. You're only limited by weakness of attention and poverty of imagination. Now, I want you to think about that for a moment. Really, give it some serious thought. You're only limited by weakness of attention. You have perception, will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuition. Now, all of these are higher faculties. This is what makes us different from the animal kingdom. Now, Neville Goddard has said you're only limited by weakness of attention. So this is where I got the idea to write this and put it together and to present it to you today. Is this thing from Neville Goddard, who said you're only limited by weakness of attention. Now that is what I call a power statement. Now, the imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivable power force that the world has ever known. See, that imagination, if you go look it up, in the root of it is something that is of God. He's given humanity the ability to imagine, to recreate, or be co-created with Him in what is going on in your life. Now, He'll take you anywhere and He'll give you anything you want because you co-create your reality of what you desire. That's just a beautiful thing to know. So just look at it from a law of vibration. It starts right in your own mind that activates brain cells. And when those cells are activated, you impact your life and you impact the whole universe. Do you know that thought waves are cosmic waves that penetrate all time and space? All audios from the beginning of time until now are in the atmosphere. It's out there. Those old movies, those old songs, they're all out there. When you can tune into them, you can hear them or you can see the picture. Wow, it penetrates all time and space. That's something you can research if you like, and how phenomenal that is. You see, as you begin studying this, they're huge. They're beyond our imagination even. Listen, I don't think the vast majority of us have ever been introduced to who we really are. Now, I've been a coach, counselor, and mentor for more than 25 years, and I say that with all honesty. I don't think if a person starts to show some promise of developing a healthy self-image, they will be told that they're being conceited. And I've heard people say that. Well, you're just conceited because you think you know everything. Well, that's not true. It's not that way. That's not the way it should be. And of course, we have believed a lot of other bad stuff too, a lot of bad information. The law of vibration starts in your own marvelous mind. You have the mind of Christ. That's the power source right there. I've taken some of the most complicated materials and reduced it to the most simplistic form because that's the way I learn, by breaking it down. And perhaps you're much like I am. In fact, I had a teacher that helped me just do that in my years past. Lincoln said something absolutely incredible. He said to believe in the things you can see and touch, they're no belief at all. Let me say that again. Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, said something absolutely incredible. He said to believe in things that you can see and touch is no belief at all. Isn't that incredible? But he also said this, and this is even bigger. He said, believe in the things you can see and touch is no belief at all. But to believe in the unseen is a triumph and a blessing. Now think of that. If you can believe in the things you can see and touch is no belief at all, but to believe in the unseen is a triumph and a blessing. Did you know the biggest part of us we've never seen? The real you is totally spirit. And this is something that I've been talking about for many years that people just can't seem to grasp. We're the spirits. We came out of Father God on a task down here we call earth, but we're spirits. In fact, we know about the spirit because when the sperm and the egg come together, it ignites and causes a light. That light is spirit. And Jesus said he's the light of the world, and we're one with him. In fact, we're one with the Father because we came out of Father. We're on a mission, and we shall always be spirit. Isn't that a fantastic thought? But most people don't believe it because they say, well, we're just human. That's not true. That's a lie. Your spirit slowed down to visibility, as some have said, and that's so true. We're just having a human experience in a spiritual body. Now, we've got to understand this. We've got to get in the right slot in our mind. We've got to realize there's much that we do not know. We don't really understand because here's the problem. Our educational and religious systems, they're lacking in teaching us about real truth, teaching us who we are. They don't talk about it in schools. Even in higher education, they don't talk about that. Even in religious higher education, they don't really talk about that much. I should know I have to earn degrees, doctorate degrees, several certification. In fact, actually a stack of them. But they don't talk about the real thing because people don't believe. Hear me. They don't believe the real thing, that we're spirits. You can study psychology or sociology or ideologies, but most people have never really got to know themselves. I'm talking about in depth, who they really are, their relationship to the whole scheme of things, like their relationship to God. And that turns off a lot of people. Well, I don't know anything about this God I don't believe in. Well, what they've done, they believed in a religion that painted the wrong picture of who God is. And that's the real crux of the matter. I'm talking about an infinite power, and you're created in that image and power. We're as he is now. Let me say that again. We're as he is now. We have infinite potential locked up within us because Jesus has said the kingdom is within. So the kingdom is within all people. They don't know it. They don't believe in it. They don't activate it. They're not using it. What they're doing it because of what they believe, they're just using the power in a wrong direction from the negative side. Now, what we want to do is learn how to use it for good in us and in others. Now, it's been said that those who tell stories rule society. Learn lots of stories. In fact, you are a story. Think about that. You are a story, and you live out your story before the whole world. Isn't that amazing? You are a mass of energy that functions by running on frequencies. Now, this is important. I listen with my headphones a lot of evenings, reclining, listen to the different frequencies, hertz frequencies, and they can do a lot for healing or changing your mind about anything. They're great things if you go to YouTube and look up healing music that can bring healing in different parts of your body through these frequencies. Now, you may not think of yourself that way. You may say, well, what has this got to do with anything? Well, it actually has to do with everything. If you really understand it, you can attract more money. Is that a bad thing? A matter of fact, you can attract good health. Is that bad? No. You can attract great relationships. Well, what's wrong with that? In fact, you can have a phenomenal business or ministry because God's giving you the ability to imagine, to co-create with Him an outcome that can change your life forever. Now, if you don't know what you want to do, you're just drifting. You're floating around like a leaf on a windy day. You're not going anywhere, really. Well, a lot of you are drifting today as you listen to me. And perhaps this is your day for a big change. You are a massive energy and you function on frequencies. In fact, if you take a picture of yourself with a camera, you're going to see yourself as a glistening radiation form. That's one of those cameras, Kirlian, Kirlian cameras that does that. Now, when you make a photo of a mass, for example, a plant, you can make that photo and the energy coming from it, you can see a vibration coming from the plant. You know why? Because everything vibrates. Rocks vibrates. Everything moves. Nothing rests. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you because I think it's important that you really understand that everything is in motion. What we see as solid, in essence, it's not really solid at all because they're vibrations. And when you understand a little bit about quantum physics, well, it'll change your mind forever. Look into it. It's very, very interesting. So you see energy functions on frequencies, and that's what you're made of. You're made of living energy. In fact, Einstein says everything is energy. Did you hear me? Albert Einstein said everything is energy. That's the reason why this lesson is so important. A frequency is a level of vibration. That's exactly what a frequency is. Now, there's a number of frequencies. There's hundreds, perhaps thousands of frequencies. Remember, when you think, it activates brain cells, and then you send off a charge of energy. Now, this is important, so it's not to misunderstand this. There's an infinite number of frequencies. Albert Einstein said everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. That's the frequency of the reality you want. And you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. Really, if you don't get anything from this lesson, if you get this one statement and you really believe it, this can change your life absolutely for the better forever. Because this is what he said now. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want. And you cannot help but get that reality, and it can be no other way. Wow. Is that a power statement or what? Now, this is not a philosophy. This is physics. I'm teaching you a primary cause of good that you desire in this series. It can change your life. I'm telling you, folks, you can take If you take care of the cause, the effect always takes care of itself. In fact, Emerson said it, the law of cause and effect was the most important law in the universe. Well, I don't know about that, but maybe he was pretty close to it. But one thing for sure, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Wow. Earl Nightingale is an old guy some years ago that has some wonderful things to teach and say. I would say go look him up. But he said something back in 1959. He said this. He talked about Dr. Albert Schweitzer being interviewed in the London airport. When he got off the plane, the reporters asked the doctor, "What's wrong with man today?" Now he thought about it for a while and said, "Man simply doesn't think." Now, is that a power statement or what? Everybody thinks with little understanding. Mental activity does not constitute thinking. If you're reading anything on social media today, you know this is a true statement. People make some of the outlandish things and statements that you know are not true. You have the five senses that you can see, taste, hear, and feel. You know the five senses. But when you have those five senses are affected, it causes mental activity. But mental activity is not necessarily thinking. It only causes pictures to fly in your mind. If you're reading the background right now, as you're listening to me speak, you might have a picture of a fire truck or an ambulance on the screen of your mind. Here it is. You have higher faculties. What are those? The will, reason, imagination, memory, intuition. These are higher faculties. These are what literally separates us from the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom is completely at home in their environment. They blend in, and you and I are disoriented in our environment. Why? It's because we've been given the godlike ability to create in our own environment. But I think what people are creating in their environment is a negative environment. Just look around you. You're doing the creating of it. He's giving you the keys to the kingdom. And the kingdom is where? It's within you. So what are you creating? And people don't like that statement because they say, I'm not creating that I'm poor. I'm not creating that I'm sick. I'm not creating that I have bad relationships. I wonder if that's really true or not. As a man thinks his heart, so is he. So guard your heart above all things, for out of it flow all the issues of life. So if you're having an issue, it's a heart issue. That's one of my go-to scriptures that I use as a coach, counselor, mentor for more than 25 years. If you were to come to me and you tell me your story, I simply find out what's in your heart, because everybody has a heart issue. When you say you have an issue and you need help, hope, or healing in that particular area of your life, then you got to think, what is the person really thinking? What are they creating? Have they created a negative environment? Oh, how sad. But that's what most people are doing. And they don't realize it, because what you're thinking, what are you meditating on, is what you're creating on a subconscious level. You don't even realize it, but you don't like what you see. And the only way to do that is change your thinking, because when you change your thinking, you can create a new life, a life that you really, really desire. The turning point in the lives of those who succeed usually come in a moment of some crisis through which it reduces that person to their real self. Note, some people now find their true spiritual self. I know it changed my life when I found my true spiritual self many years ago. It caused me to be able to get the great education and to share that education with people around the world that's changed their lives in the last 25 years. But it didn't start out. I'm like most everybody else. You can change your thinking. You can create the life that you really desire. In fact, in June, I turned 82. And I feel like I'm just warming up. And I have no intention of slowing down. I'm connected to 2 seminaries and several certification programs that has impacted several hundred students worldwide. Now, how did that happen? Well, honestly, I can't figure it out. The only explanation is that God has chosen in eternity past for me to be born at this time to make an impact in the kingdom. Excuse me. You see, I knew I was blessed, but I had limited knowledge as to what that really meant. I just had an innate awareness as this was my lot in life. That's true, guys. I knew I wasn't really smart, but my belief in God empowered me to earn 2 doctorate degrees and to be actively involved in 2 seminaries and several certification programs. Now, excuse me. I have a great achievement that most people don't know about me. This is the first time I've actually posted it in any way, either in a post or in a video. I was a national training director for a major sales force in the United States until I retired in 2000. I trained hundreds of students with that organization to go out to be mean selling machines. Excuse me. That was a great achievement to be recognized as a national training director for a national company. Wow. That led me on to more and more education, more degrees, more certifications, more lessons like I'm teaching here. I'm just giving you an example of something that's very simple. I don't want to complicate it. It's about your mind. It's all about our awareness. Let me say that again. I don't want to complicate this. It's about your mind. It's all in our awareness. There's a marvelous inner world that exists within us. It's called the kingdom of God. The revelation of such a world enables us to do, to attain, to achieve anything we desire within the bounds of our imagination. You just get that one statement. Really, it can change your life forever. So if we go back to Einstein, if we get the picture anchored, we can get into the energy of the good we desire and cannot help but to manifest that. This sounds like a lot like quantum physics language today. So let's make a circle, a big circle that represents your mind. The top half of it is your conscious mind, and the bottom half is your subconscious mind. I think a good book on this is a book by Dr. Joseph Murphy. It's called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. It's a phenomenal book. He said that when you think of yourself, you have got to have an image. Most importantly, you must develop an image of what you want to become. I've got to say that quote one more time. He said, when you think of yourself, you've got to think of an image. This image, the most important image of what you want to become. See, most people don't know what they want to become. You've got to understand the mind is everything in your life. You've learned how to work with it. Let's look at it in a very simple way. There's a positive side, there's a negative side of the mind. There's polarities, there are opposites. There's negative and a positive. And most people are flowing out of the negative side of their conscious thinking. But the subconscious mind has the power that can change. You literally create thoughts from a power that flows into your conscious mind and is lodged in the subconscious. You can change that. You can think something that no one has ever thought before. You have a unique ability to do this. It is the thoughts that you think in your conscious mind that you impress upon the subconscious mind that causes you to feel the way that you feel. So if you don't like the way you're feeling today, you can change it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. Those feelings are expressed through your physical body that cause the actions which present the results. Those feelings are expressed with and through your physical body that causes the action which produces a result. It's called attitude. Now, some people line up on the negative side, and others they're wrong, but they're on the wrong side. Then other people on the positive side, now that's good, and they're right. So you're right either way. I think Ford said this: whichever way you think, you're right. So if you're on the wrong side and you think that's right, then you think that's right, and that's where you'll stay. But you can find it the wrong side or the right side. That's your thinking. You got to change the way you think. In fact, you can take a pen today and evaluate this presentation, and you can see a lot of things wrong with it. Then you can see some things that are right about it. So what side are you going to be looking on? There is a powerful thing about our consciousness. We have the ability to think anything we want to think. It's the thoughts that we create that cause the feelings. And because we emotionally get involved, that causes the body to move into action that produce results. A good example of that was just a few months ago when a couple of ladies were fighting in a grocery store over toilet paper. But they got emotionally involved about this purchase of toilet paper. Well, you might have seen that. As you keep building on these ideas, you're really going to get to know yourself, the world you live in, and the laws that govern. You can become a lot better. And these are some ideas that maybe can foster a better way of thinking. Anyway, this is Dr. Cecil Cochran. If you need more information from me, you can certainly email me at drcecil@iocc.us. That's right, drcecil@iocc.us. I'd be happy to communicate with you and help you in any way that I can. So I'm signing out and say be blessed today because you already are.